Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, and welcome to the sixth episode of Conversations Between Glo and God. The title of this episode is The Puppet Masters Play Us All. And the real subject that I wanted to use, but it's too long, is the purpose and demonic brilliance of the art and science of strategic deception, division, and negative isms born by the puppet masters. This started really, I was reminded the other day of a conversation I had with God 20 years ago, where I wanted to understand the nuances of what I called post-traumatic slavery disorder. And I was thinking about that yesterday, and one of the things that I got clear on was not only the drama that was going on within the slaves, and not only from white people, most of the slave owners were white, the slave owners of the puppet masters to and with those slaves. But really, I was focusing on what about the drama within the puppet masters and the rest of the white people? And I was thinking about that because I just cannot understand why these MAGA people mostly vote against their own interest. They are voting for and celebrating people who not only hurt people they don't like and that they're afraid of, that they feel a sense of lack with, inferiority about. But also, these people are doing things that hurt them. And so I couldn't understand it. And God said, it's just another level of the same thing, or another area, not even a level of the same thing, baby. I said, okay, so help me explain to me. Here's the example that God gave me. All right. So we had white overlords mostly, and then the slaves. The overlords told the slaves what to do, bossed them around. They were as mean and meaner than the puppet masters because they were dealing with their own lack. Okay. Even though they had been friends with these people, some of them, even though the white overlords, and understand the people who first came from Europe were white, people who were white, who were poor, who were indentured servants, who were criminals. They weren't the people that were sent to populate this continent, not the people who piloted the ships and the people who would establish government, but the people that they needed to do the work were not the creme de la creme. They didn't care about them. They needed them strategically. So here's how it happened. They were like, okay, so these white people, we don't care anything about them either. We white, but we don't care. We are just using them. But if they stay being friendly with these slaves, they could join together and revolt against us, and then we lose all our stuff. Our external stuff, money and property and all that, but they could kill us too. So, what can I do strategically to create a gulf or divide between them? Because what's uniting them is their situation, their common unity or community is that they're all poor and disparaged by us, and we working them to death and beating them and all this other and taking advantage of them and all of that. So they created the overlords, and these people were so happy to have any kind of recognition, any kind of power, any kind of privilege that they said, okay, some of them, I'm going to be mean to these people to show the puppet masters, keep me in this role. But there was division amongst those people too. Here's how it played out quickly. And it reminds me of the child's story of um the house that Jack built. So there were those white people who were overlords that had to stay in the field, stay working with the black people. They were not allowed to come to the big house. Then there were people who could come to the big house, but they had to stay in the yard. There were people who had to stay in the yard and they couldn't come up on the porch. Some people could come up on the porch, but they couldn't come in the house. Some people could come in the house, but they couldn't come in the parlor. Some people could come in the parlor, but they couldn't have a seat at the table. Some people, you can have a seat at the table, but you can't eat. Some people, you can eat. See all those different layers and levels? But you'll never be as good as us. And even though they knew they would never be considered as good as the puppet masters themselves, they knew how many layers and levels were they better than in their mind. And that's the mentality of what we have going on now. I may or may not be sorry for you, but I'm glad I'm not you. Okay. And what I want to do is I don't have everything, but I'm going to keep what I've got. These puppet masters, the brilliance was that they weaponized strategic deception then and now, creating a division within individuals themselves so people doubt themselves, that whole imposter syndrome thing. That is never anything but that snake that eats itself. That's what imposter syndrome is about. So that division between and within individuals, between groups, and even across countries. What the puppet masters did and do is create and leverage psychological and emotional lack of safety, mechanisms that people will do judgment of others and say, I'm right, I'm good, you're wrong, you're not good, until it gets to the point where I'm the only one who's right. I'm the only one who's good. And they are against any and everybody else if they look like them or not. Those layers and levels of division, those things are firmly in place. So I am always at the top of my pinnacle. I know there are other pinnacles, but I'm at the top of mine. And then they cultivated various isms, and the list is long, y'all. It's not just racism. I used to say, you know what, I wish the only divide between human beings was race. We could put all of our energy into that, but there is sexism, ageism, ableism, that's stuff against people with disabilities, religious isms, and xenophobia. That is, I hate anybody that's not from my family, my neighborhood, not on my side of the street, outside my state, outside my city, outside my state, my region, my country. It's a hot mess, all layers again. Nationalism, fascism, extremism, tribalism, sectarianism, elitism, capitalism, socialism, militarism, which is being leveraged now with the military against the people. Y'all, there are enough layers that we can just, any one of them would be devastating. But all of them are being massaged by the puppet masters, massaged by, well oiled and lubricated by these people. So I'm like, okay, God, thank you so much. Thank you for explaining this to me like I'm a 6-year-old. So what now? What can I do? Here's what God said. Well, okay, so baby, let me holler at you for a minute and tell you what this is. Individually, stop taking in all this mess 24/7. There is stuff that any one podcast, any one show, any one article will keep you in the doldrums and kick you out of a sense of abundance. So limit how much you take in. Yes, educate yourself, but do that strategically. We must be as strategic for our good as these puppet masters are strategic for our bad. Do some self-reflection and appreciate and love yourself because I made you, okay? And that means you are perfect even in your imperfection. I don't see that, boo. And then systemic and social countermeasures. You can advocate for policy and change. Use your vote strategically. Support organizations that do the same. There are cultural and institutional things that you can do. Challenge discrimination wherever you see it. Support the creation of safe spaces for people. Some people feel they can't even breathe. They're always looking over their shoulder. And I wish it was just one shoulder. It's all shoulders. It's that Matrix thing where Keanu Reeves, help me, Jesus. where Keanu Reeves is leaning back and the bullets are flying across him. Yeah, they filmed that thing by creating 360-degree cameras all around him so that they could capture all of the action. That's what it feels like we need to have sometimes, is cameras and safeties all around us because it comes from everywhere. Baby, this mess can be overwhelming if you allow it to be. And that is not, God doesn't want us to be overwhelmed or underwhelmed, just whelmed. I'm a musician, and so I love to surround myself with art that is music. So I love poetry and all of that stuff too. But music really takes me to a place of uh, bringing all my parts together. And so what, I've been listening to lately is songs like, I'm not trying to listen to the blues, which is about my wife bit me and my dog bit me and my wife left me and I'm so sad. It's not that. It is uplifting music, no matter what genre, if it's classical or gospel or art songs. Right now, I'm listening to Imagine by John Lennon and Heal the World by Michael Jackson, Same Love by Macklemore. I posted that on Facebook. One Love by Bob Marley, never, never out of time, never out of date. All About the Love, which is a song my brother and friend Calvin Bridges wrote. Check that out. Go on to YouTube and just type in All About the Love by Calvin Bridges. And then a song I heard just yesterday, Lean on My Love by John Batiste and Audra Day. Look, y'all, we got to remember that the purpose of the puppet masters is to get, extend, and keep their power, control, to expand their wealth and their stuff for them and only them by any means necessary. They don't care anything about you or you or you or you or me or anybody else. They are not about the we-ness. They are about the I-ness and the me-ness. In order not to be overwhelmed with the myriad things that I can do and overwhelmed by the myriad things that are going on that affect me directly or indirectly. What I recommend is, yeah, know about the rest of that stuff, but baby, have your steps, your words, your thoughts ordered by God. That's what I do. So I'll know which individual, which systemic and social, which cultural and institutional measures I can invest my energy in. Just go to God, honey, because God is the author and creator of everything. And I guarantee you, there is enough and more than enough of everything that you might be feeling there's a lack of. God got you. That is it. That's all I got for you today. Tune in. I don't know when episode 7 is going to be filmed and made available. We're not even going there. Share this one, like it if you do. Share it with others if you think it will be helpful to anyone. Subscribe to this channel if you wanna. I hope you do. And let's make this, not only about this episode, about this series, if I can call it that. Let's let it be about what am I doing every day so that I can show up and feel the love. And remember that it's all about the love, no matter what. I know who and whose I am. That's it. I thank you so much. God bless you. Take care. You know I love you.